See live on social media, also recording on Zoom so I can post this on YouTube. This is a credit building seminar. I'm going to be talking to you guys about building your credit score, financially empowering yourself. I'm going to be doing this seminar once a week, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So if you're by your computer, or you can log into Zoom on your phone every Thursday at 7:30. You can go to the link creditwayup.com and it'll bring you right into my live webinar. You'll be able to ask me questions live. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So this seminar is brought to you by my company, JLC Strategy Solutions. We offer credit repair as well as tax preparation services nationwide. But today we're going to be talking about building your credit score and some of the things you can do that don't cost you any money to improve your credit score. So first of all, what is your credit score? Your credit score is a number that represents your credit worthiness. So banks, lenders, car dealerships, they're going to look at this number. They may pick one of the three major bureaus. They may use a combination of the three, but they're going to look at this number and determine whether they want to give you a loan or not and how much interest they want to charge you on that loan. So really, if you're anywhere below the 650 line, you can use some work on your credit. If you're in the 500s, you definitely want to take action because you're going to need at least a 580, 600, or 620 for first-time home buyer credit, first-time home buyer programs if you ever plan on purchasing a home. And then just the higher you are on the scale, the closer to 850, the better off you are as far as qualifying for everything credit-wise, getting the best interest rates. If you have ambition to start in a business one day, somebody over here that wants to start a business is going to have limited options in comparison to someone over here on this side of the chart who's going to have banks and lenders throwing money at them to get their business started. And it's not really that difficult to move from this side to this side, which is why I wanted to bring this information to you guys today. So how is my credit score calculated? Right here, you're looking at a basic chart that gives you an idea of how they calculate your score. The biggest portion of your credit score is the 35% here, which is your payment history. So your cell phone bill, your utility bills, all of your bills, credit card bills, everything that reports to the bureau, you want to make sure you're paying it on time, even a day early in some cases, just to be safe. The longer you're making those payments on time, consistently, the more positive effect it's going to have on your credit score. The next largest portion would be your balance owed or your credit usage ratio. So on non-revolving lines of credit or installment loans, those are just going to be fixed balances that you pay off in a set amount of time. But with revolving credit, nothing's set in stones because as you use that credit, it's not available. Your balance owed compared to your balance available is a good portion of your credit score. So for example, if you have $1,000 credit card and you only have $300 charged to it or less, then you're in good shape because you're under the 30% mark on your ratio, not in relation to this 30% right here, but you want to be below 30 to 20% on your credit usage ratio every time your cards report to the bureau. And we can talk more about that later. But you have 15% as your credit history. So the longer you've had accounts open, the more positive effect it's going to have on your score. You don't want to close out accounts just because you don't use them anymore, because the longer you keep them open, the higher your score is going to be. 10% is your credit mix, so just a good mix of different kinds of cards, or credit cards, lines of credit, different types of credit. And then 10% is also new credit accounts you're accumulating, and also inquiries on your credit, which can affect your credit score. So how can my credit score affect my life? For one, it's the difference between being approved and denied. So if you rather hear approved than denied, then this information is for you. It determines the interest rate on your loan or your mortgage. If you don't know how compound interest works, you're already losing in a number of ways. But you definitely don't want to be on the wrong side of a loan with a high interest rate because you have a low credit score. Employers can also check your credit score to determine whether they want to hire you or not. So if you apply to a job and you have a similar application as far as your background and skills that you're bringing to the company, and they're looking at you contestant A and contestant B, and contestant B has the higher credit score, guess which one they're going to pick? Because the higher credit score indicates that that individual pays their bills on time. They're probably always on time everywhere they go. So more than likely, they would be a better fit for the job. And then higher credit scores also get better insurance rates as far as your life insurance, auto insurance, you name it. That's not what you want to see right there. So moving on, how can I find out what's on my credit report? You have numerous options. I'm sure you've seen the commercials and the advertisements all over the internet. I actually recommend Privacy Guard as far as looking at your scores and getting your full reports, because that's what I use for my clients. You can also go to annualcreditreport.com or freecreditreport.com to get your full credit reports, either electronically if you can verify all your information on the computer, or by mail if you're not able to do so. You can also call this phone number right here, 1-877-322-8228. They'll ask you to verify some information, and they will mail you all 3 of your credit reports in the mail. You can call this number here to get your public records report. So this might be traffic tickets, judgments. You definitely want to take a look at your public records. And then your check systems report, you can call this number here. And that's any negative bank accounts you may have left in the past. So what is credit monitoring? Credit monitoring is usually a paid service where they will update you on your credit score, update you on new accounts that are being opened under your security, social security number. This way you can make sure that no kind of identity theft is going on. Nobody's using your name to open random accounts. And of course, if your score takes a plunge or it increases, you'll be notified immediately. So it's a good way to stay on top of your credit score. So what are the credit bureaus? These are the major organizations. They manage databases that banks and credit card companies use to make lending decisions. So they're keeping track of when you pay your bills, who you've opened your accounts with. They will sell that information to collection agencies if they choose to. And then they're regulated by the Federal Trade Commission and the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which we'll talk about in just a minute. So these are the 3 credit bureaus. You have Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Equifax was founded in '96. It's the largest out of the 3. And in 2015, their servers were hacked, exposing 15 million people to ID fraud. So you could have actually been one of those people. You wouldn't have even known it unless you checked your credit report. Equifax was founded in 1899, second largest of the 3, subject to over 57,000 consumer complaints. And there was actually a recent security breach. You can go to EquifaxSecurity2017.com to get more information on that security breach, they're actually offering free credit monitoring to everyone just because you may have been affected by the breach. And then we have TransUnion, which was founded in 1968, the third largest credit bureau. And in 2017, they actually falsely reported consumers on the government terrorist list for whatever reason. You can find more information on that anywhere on the internet. The Fair Credit Reporting Act that I mentioned earlier, federal law passed by Congress back in 1970. This gives you the right to dispute any item on your credit report, because just like any other company, the major credit bureaus aren't perfect. Sometimes they make mistakes, things happen, but if mistakes were made, they need to be deleted from your credit report. It doesn't need to bring your score down. Requires credit bureaus to investigate when you file a dispute, and not in credit bureau's best interest to investigate or correct your report, of course, because they get paid off of that. So factors that affect your score: positive impact, on-time payments, which we mentioned earlier. 80% of your credit cards you want to keep available. Now, I'm not saying you can't use your credit cards, but every credit card has a due date for your minimum payment, and it also has a date that it reports to the credit bureau. So you can swipe your card all you need to throughout the month. As long as the date that it reports to the credit bureau, you make sure that your balance is reflecting either 20% or lower. So you make sure you make your payments on time, and you make sure you're reporting a low balance on your credit card. It's going to have a very good effect on your credit score. So another way you can have a positive effect on your credit score is by removing derogatory accounts. So anything in collections, anything bad on your credit report, like judgments, unpaid bills, late payments, inquiries, you name it, it can be removed from your credit report, and that'll bring your score up. Keeping accounts open for a long period of time and then having a good account mix. On the other side, the negative impacts are making late payments, maxing out your credit cards, or having the balance over 50% and letting that report on a monthly basis. Ignoring your credit report, which will actually subject you to identity theft, and then closing accounts that you could keep open for credit history, and having too many inquiries, like trying to open a Macy's card and then a Lowe's card, Best Buy card, all in the same day. Not going to have a huge impact, but it's going to have a negative impact on your credit score. So credit score reinforcement here, I have a screenshot of a client of mine that I'm helping improve their score. This is some of the advice. It's all of the things we just talked about. As you can see, this client's score is going up because their credit card usage is going up. Well, the ratio is going up. So the lower this number is, the better it's going to be on your score. So this is actually going up, which is a bad thing. We want this to come down, but his score is going up. Payment history, you want this number at 100%, which just means you're making all of your payments on time. If I were to do a free consultation for you, I could take a look at this and tell you if you're making your payments on time, tell you if your ratio is right. Your average age of account open is what's going to give you medium impact on your credit score as far as your account age. You want this number to be as long as possible, so keep your accounts open longer. Total number of accounts has a low impact, and then hard inquiries has a low impact. What can I do to improve my score? We talked about some of those things. If I were to take a look at your report, for instance, and I find 20 plus derogatory accounts, like in this example here, I would tell you to dispute your credit. Let's get these removed from your report. And that's going to have a dramatic positive effect on your score. So these are some of the derogatory items that can be removed from your credit report that will bring your score down. You see we have late payments, which I mentioned, your medical bills, collections accounts, charge-offs, bankruptcies, student loans that haven't been paid or in default, judgments, inaccurate information, outdated information, inquiries, child support, tax liens, foreclosures, etc., can all be removed from your credit report. So how the dispute process works. Normally, what you would do is you would get either dispute letters generated for you, or you'll type them up yourself or write them up yourself. You want to make sure you have all your information accurate. You want to make sure all of the information is correct, which is why most people seek professional consultation. Once the free consultation is performed, we'll be able to discover if you have derogatory items that need to be removed. We will import your credit reports and credit scores from all 3 bureaus. So we'll have all the items that need to be deleted for all 3 bureaus. These are actually 3 separate investigations that you need to have performed. We're going to mail off handwritten dispute letters to all 3 bureaus via certified mail. We'll talk about that in a second. And then you'll receive an investigation from the credit bureaus, which will give you results on the investigation, letting you know which items were deleted, which items were verified, and you'll take further action from there to get the verified items removed in some cases as well. So how JLC Strategy Solutions compares to the competition. Most online competitors are going to generate typed dispute letters. The reason this is a problem is because the bureaus scan these letters. They scan them for the font and oftentimes label them frivolous, which will not get you any results and make it very difficult for you to dispute in the future. Over here, JLC Strategy Solutions, like I said, we do handwritten dispute letters in a certain color ink, and we guarantee results. Okay, so the competitors are going to generate generic, unspecific explanations for the accounts you need removed and have low success rates sometimes, which will cause you to continue paying the membership so they can continue to file low quality disputes for you. Over here at JLC Strategy Solutions, of course, we do the free consultation, which is going to provide us with the specific information we need to dispute each item specifically. Now, with the competition, they're going to have high membership fees. They often include additional services that aren't necessarily required to improve your credit score. You may be able to benefit from these additional services, but you may not want those additional services. We have an affordable program for everybody, and you pay per dispute rather than being locked into some kind of membership. So if you wanted to get started today based on the information I provided to you, you would just contact me for a free consultation. I take a look at your credit score, let you know if there are derogatory items that can be removed by dispute. We can do a live Zoom call, so you'll be looking at everything that I'm looking at. I don't do anything behind closed doors. I want to make sure I educate my clients as well as provide them a high quality service. If derogatory accounts are discovered, you can get started with your first dispute with a $100 administration fee. Now, by law, your credit report can be disputed once every 30 days. So you'll be charged $50 per additional dispute. And those are the only fees associated with the services outside of certifying your dispute letters. Now, the reason we recommend certifying your dispute letters is not only do you know exactly when the bureaus receive your letters, So you can expect in a reasonable amount of time for the investigation to come back. But for any reason that the investigation is not performed, you can actually enforce the Fair Credit Reporting Act laws by using the receipt from the certified mail of your dispute, which is a minimal cost, and it's worth it to make sure you get results on your credit dispute. And you'll actually be able to track all the work that's done. You'll see all the accounts that are deleted, or you'll be able to track your score going up. Once the first dispute starts, you'll receive an email similar to this one stating which accounts are being disputed, showing it is in status. Well, the status is in dispute, and that the process has started. So you'll be in the loop throughout the whole process. And that is the end of my presentation. If you guys want to get in contact with me, I'm definitely here to help. You can reach me at 804-313-9317. Connect with me on Facebook. My email account is TopflightCredit@gmail.com. I hope you guys took something valuable away from this webinar. And remember, guys, I'm going to be doing this every week on Thursday at 7:30. So if you missed any of the information and don't have time to rewatch it today, I'll be doing it again with fresh information this Thursday on the 21st. And then you'll be able to come into the chat room with me and ask me any questions if you have any. Have a great day.